Welcome back to another episode of TriGeordieCast. Today I want to talk about race entry fees, as it's a new year starting up. I'm beginning to enter some events and a few races, and the cost of them is quite high. Some events have tried to keep their pricing down, which is appreciated, but there have always been some race organisers who seem to insist on charging a premium. It may be all the extra expense that they put into it, the free t-shirts and awards, and sometimes you get a goodie bag. Again, possibly because I've done a few of these events now, it would just be nice to have a cheaper entry fee rather than all the extra gadgets. And there's one race that I particularly like to do, and they just offered printouts for first, second and third in plastic wallets. So there wasn't any of this metal nonsense or cups or all of that. It was just easy enough to break up between the categories. I think if you want to encourage people to take up the sport, then the events themselves should be, or the costs of the events themselves shouldn't be prohibitive, and they shouldn't be the barrier to entry. I've entered a vintage cyclosportive. The cost of entry to that, including camping, and bear in mind this is a 3-day event, that turns out cheaper than one of the races that I've entered this year. And surely that can't be right. Now, I appreciate you've got water safety, insurance, all of that extra stuff to do, as well as route marshals, motorbike marshals, all of that. But seriously, if you're looking at spending nearly 100 quid or over 100 quid just to enter a race and get nothing for it as well, no t-shirt included in that, or no goodie bag, I would rather it was just a cheaper race. One of the ideas behind this channel is to do triathlon on a budget. Is to try and get everything that surrounds triathlon cheaper. So your bike, your run equipment, your swim gear, how to train without incurring costs. All of that's important because your large costs that you are going to incur are going to be entering events or races or whatever you want to do. You're putting a lot of time and effort into training, and there are benefits to that, because just getting out on your bike, getting out with mates, going on a group ride, just exploring, that's great. Same with running. Swimming's a little more intense, but I find swimming very relaxing, so there are benefits to doing it, which also include the overall health benefits and the fact you're training for 3 sports. And it's alright to go for a few years without an event or something to put in, but to give you a focus, a focal point, ideally you want to enter an event, and you want to test yourself across a distance that's been marked out for you. It's something that you can repeat year on year just to see if you're improving or not. And it may be with the cost of the events themselves, possibly there's going to be a grassroots reaction to this, I would hope. It may just be that clubs organise their own little events that aren't BTF sanctioned. There's no marshalling, it's just plot a route. Bit like a club ride, say on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. Just we'll meet here, we'll start with a run, then we've got this route planned, out on the bike, back another run, first one back gets a kudos, so that last one back has to buy the coffee. It'll just be something small like that. I can imagine that sort of thing taking off, and so it doesn't attract too much attention or take too much organisation, probably limited to about 10 people. So it may be that the friend groups or clubs have to start doing that, just so you can get an event in, which, it's good brick training as well. But I don't see how you can justify paying north of 70, 80, 100 quid for a few hours in a race. When I started, the standard price was about 45 quid, and that included the insurance. Now it tends to be that plus the insurance, which is between 5 and 6 quid. And that's been about 5 quid for a long time, so top marks to BTF for that. There may be other extra costs on top of that. Also looking forward, if there's a push for people to do without petrol driven transport, and they want people to switch to e-bikes, how do you get to some events? I've been quite lucky in that, well, I'm assuming they're still going, but at one point I had 5 events within cycling distance. I could get there under my own steam. And a lot of the events I do, I would need to travel to and need a car to get there. So it's all very well everybody pushing for e-bikes, but when you get there, you're going to be allowed to race the e-bike even if you leave the battery off. Would you want to race an e-bike? If it's the only bike you have, then fair enough, but I'm not sure what the rules state on that. Anyway, maybe I'm being a bit too negative. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think the future of events are? Are events too expensive? Or is it just supply and demand? Keep training, and I'll see you in the next video.